You know, with this series of talks, our idea is not just to introduce you to journalists and matters of journalism, but important issues in the news, important issues that journalists need to know about. And I wonder how many of you here have heard of amnesty before you saw this notice. Everybody? Who didn't? Had you heard of it? No, right. So that's quite interesting because, you know, for Hong Kong people, we don't have to worry too much about human rights, right? We don't have many human rights issues. And for mainlanders, they have a lot of human rights issues, but amnesty is not allowed on the mainland. So you won't have heard of it if you come from the mainland, unless you heard of it here. But of course, throughout the rest of the world, amnesty is very, very well known for its human rights activism. And today we've got someone who has a very specialist area. This is in the death penalty, which, again, we don't have in Hong Kong anymore. I think it's off the books. Isn't it completely off the books now? It used to be, we used to have the death penalty, but nobody was given it for many years, but now we no longer have it. But almost every other place in Asia has the death penalty, so it's still a very, very live issue. And the person we've got today is a long-time journalist and NGO worker and human rights campaigner called Connie Chan. I'd like you to welcome Connie Chan to talk to us today. Thank you very much for coming.
Hi, I'm Connie. I work for Amnesty International Hong Kong section for 3 years. And before that, I working in the local NGOs. My work focus on sex workers' rights, women's rights, and gender violence. And before NGO work, I worked as a journalist in the local newspaper, like Apple Daily, Main Pao, The Sun, Salon, that famous paper. So maybe you are going to be a journalist, reporter in local newspaper or TV station, right? But you may think about to work for the NGOs or INGO, I mean international NGO like me. And can I have the presentation now?
Yes.
Please. Yeah. It's really too big for me. Yeah. I'm the campaigner of Amnesty International Hong Kong section, and my work focus here is death penalty. You know, in Hong Kong, we don't have death penalty for 20 years already. So we really forgot what is death penalty actually. But if you are going to review the Asia Pacific area, the regional area, it is quite active in our area. I'm going to show you some pictures from Amnesty, but I'm sorry to tell you that this is all not a happy picture, but they are real. The picture from Iran, they have a public execution in public area. So when we talk about death penalty, we may think about people on death row, I mean the death row inmates. Not all of them are bad people, but also some of them are young boys, women, and from different countries. Okay. Do you know some of them? No. Some of them are famous. Like the women in Iraq, she's sentenced to death. She's sentenced to stoning, actually. Do you know stoning? Stone and throw until the people die. She's sentenced to stoning because adultery. Because she had sex relation when she already had her husband. She have sex relationship with the other man. So what do you think about that penalty? And some people told me that this is the solution to the most serious crime. From international human rights standard, only most serious crime should use the death penalty as the solution. Like in India, this is a really big debate. We have India section, but our colleagues from India told us that it's really hard to have the debate with the Indian people on death penalty on the serious case. But what about this? The case on Li Yan. Li Yan came from Sichuan, China. She was abused by her husband for 3 years, serious abuse. And then she killed her husband. And it's really a sad story before the murder. And how I know her, I don't directly contact with her, but I have. But her brother came to our Hong Kong section office before Chinese New Year, a week before Chinese New Year. And because I'm the people who focus on death penalty, so I have a talk with her brother, and her brother told me that her sister going to be executed after Chinese New Year. Can you help? So I take the case, and then I know the case like this. She sentenced to death because she killed her husband. But the court didn't consider the background information, the background information that she had abused by her husband. So what about that case? Yes. From the court report, the court found that no evidence on the history on that woman abused by her husband. But interesting that the woman, she reported to the police twice, to told the police that her husband hit her or even cut her finger. Yes, but I don't know why the court didn't consider that kind of information. So this is the argument we told the Chinese authority to consider the case, the background information. And luckily, she's still alive, but we don't know how long she can still alive. And we are trying to do much and much on her. We have a letter writing campaign on her and collecting signature all over the world. You know, we have 115 sections all over the world. And the Amnesty International and some other human rights agency already campaigning for her now. And do you know more? Want to know more about the case? Yes, really strange. Yes, and the case is so really shocked to us, and after the case published to the media, we found that over 100 scholars and human rights lawyers in China, they have a corroborative statement on that woman, and asking the court to review her case. Yeah. But we are still waiting for the decision. So when we talk about death penalty, in some cases, the women may not have to sentence to death. And all over the world, over 70% of the countries, they don't have death penalty, just like Hong Kong. But do you know which country in Asia they have death penalty? China, right? And Korea, yes. South Korea and North Korea. And Singapore, right? And the neighbor of Singapore, Malaysia, yes. And Taiwan, yes. Almost all over the cities or countries in Asia, they have death penalty. Only Hong Kong, Macau, Mongolia, and Philippines, we don't have death penalty. Yeah. This is the graphic in 2000. So this is the figure, and this is one of our work. We have a research team all over the world, and we have a death penalty report every year to show that every year we have that kind of figures, and also a comprehensive report on death penalty worldwide. So you can see more and more countries abolish the death penalty. And I just heard about a good news from US, Maryland, the latest state, and the 18th of the state just abolished the death penalty. But US still have much execution. And this is the top 5. And always China to be the first for many years. China is the champion of the top 5. And actually, every year, how many executions in China, we don't really know. And we don't count it in our report anymore since 2 years before, because so many executions did it in secret. And we may estimate over 2,000 to 4,000 every year execution in China. That means if we say that estimate 2,000 to 4,000 every year in China, you see that. Only 600 all over the world every year. Only 681. But only in China, they have 2,000 to 4,000 execution. And of course, in China, they have many problems like unfair trial, like people torture to confess. So what kind of execution when we're talking about death penalty? Have you heard about that? Maybe you heard about shooting, lethal injection, like in US and China. Maybe you heard about electric chair, which already retired in US. But maybe you heard about stoning in Bible. But I'm sorry to tell you, stoning is still here, still happening in Middle East. This is the picture came from Middle East. I forgot the country, beheading and public execution. And in China, they used to have shooting before, but last year they start to use lethal injection like in US, because the government in China told us that because it is more human, it is more comfortable for the death row inmates. But of course, we think that all the method for execution is murder, even shooting or lethal injection. So the picture came from U.S. And also from U.S. Sometimes the medical treatment is not really well. So if you're talking about it's more comfortable for the death penalty inmates, it may be not sometimes because from the report in U.S. they can kill people in 3 to 5 minutes because it's so quick. So it's more comfortable for them. But no, from our report, we know that some treatment have got some problem, and then the people struggling, I mean the death row inmates struggling, even suffering for half an hour until die. So hanging in Iraq, Singapore, Malaysia, Singapore use hanging. And this is the hanging room in Japan. We got the pictures secretly. Yes. And can you see the wax circle? People stand here and they have 3 buttons. So how can you hang someone? 3 officers will be there, and then they push the button, and the 4 drop the people. But we don't know which button to let the 4 drop. So no one knows he killed the people. He or she killed the people. Yes. Oh, yes. Because the judicial officer or the government, or officer from the government, they have to witness the hanging situation to make sure people got hanging, to make sure the people is the dead people.
So why is it
As the police officer, you don't want to kill people. No one want to kill people, right? So why 3 buttons instead of 1? Because they don't want to know who executed people, to make you more comfortable. Room 1. First of all, people bring the death row inmate bring to here, and then to tell the police that anything he or she want to arrange before death, and then go to here, the second execution room, room 2, and the police officer or the officer from the government standing here to observe the execution. And a death row inmate death, after death, 5 minutes, they will double check if he or she already dead. Stoning. Another story in Middle East. This is a law by Muslim law. The only crime convicted, sentenced to death, sentenced to stoning is adultery. But the amnesty arguing that if people they have consent, they are adult and they have consent on sexual relationship, why have to sentence to death? And from some of our cases, cases report that why they have adultery relationship because, like women in Iraq, they cannot apply to divorce. Only male can apply to divorce, like your father, your husband, or your son. But if I'm the woman, and I always abused by my husband, I cannot apply to divorce. I cannot leave the house. So what can I do? I run away from the family, right? And then I bring out my son, my kids to the other area of the country. And then because I cannot divorce, so after that, if I have another new relationship, and people know I have started up another relationship, that means I already in adultery, so I can sentence to death. Not only female, but also male. And some of the case report that why adultery? Because the woman raped by her relatives or by her other family members. And the family members told to the police that, oh, I don't rape her because that woman willing to have sex with me, so that means she's got adultery, sentenced to death. Yeah. Hmm? Anything we can do, right? Religion. Interesting to tell you that the Islam, the people told Amnesty that this is not their law. Stoning is not their law. Yeah. Not their law, not their practice. Someone said that this is not their practice, and someone said that this is their tradition. Yes, yes. And the only punishment is stoning. Electric chair, but no use now. They are already retired. So go back to Asia. Every country have their story on death penalty. Like Singapore, mandatory death sentence is drug-related offense, and it's really horrible. Only 15 grand. Do you know how much? 15 grand. Only 3 teaspoons of sugar if you drink coffee. Really small amount, and then you can sentence to death. And in China, more and more problem in China if they have death penalty cases like unfair trial, tortured confession, execution in secret, and forced to donate organs. The official report from the Chinese government, over 70% of organs donation came from death row inmates. Over 70% is really high percentage. And they didn't ask the death row inmate to do so. In Mongolia, not much people know aware that Mongolia already abolished the death penalty. So if someone told you that one eye to another eye, death penalty is our Asian tradition. This is not the truth. Not. But in Japan, most people think that Japan is a modern country, but they have secret killing from their government, and even the family members and the lawyer, they didn't aware about that. The execution. This is already beyond the international human rights standard. From the international human rights standard, death row inmates, their lawyers, and their family should know about that before. So what about Hong Kong? Hong Kong, we don't have death penalty for 20 years already. And our crime rate is so low, even lower than Paris, even lower than some other Asian countries. So in Hong Kong section, we told the other countries they have death penalty that Hong Kong can be one of the cities without death penalty, but it is a safe city. Let me share about to you a very short documentary on Chao Wo-shun. This is a case from Taiwan. And this is a short story to tell you that death penalty may be not the solution of the crime.
我是阿顺啊，是伫咧顶南面的港。细汉的时阵，我上介意啊是咧内底食一个肉丸，肉丸拄啊油内底浮起来的时阵，又搁油，又搁 Q， 又搁香，足好食。伫我29岁的时阵，发生一件代志，改变我的生。我向行来，我报这事人毋是我杀的，我明明甲朋友食，煞去租车，有证明嘛袂食。但是警察为着要破案，把我弄到外头去厝。警察甲阮拍了，敢若嘛足痛。
就是看你前期嘛，不要不习惯的，还在有一个如果有一个健康的政治在，我要有些学习的那个事情啊，搞起来我很简单，我不是你们在这干嘛？另外，你别看了，现在的这样。
我规年遮23年，听讲你拢坐捷运，台北路、高雄南路，我毋捌坐。听讲102是全世界上悬的大，我毋捌看。我敢若知影，我是全世界河架上久的人。今年的7月，我的死刑判决确定，夜暝我就向请假。即摆外口应该是秋天啊，秋天的风冷冷的，我就袂记是啥物事。我干那足想要食一个烧烫蛋肉。你嘛，你毋通去，但袂好人去，请将我的过去家己咧用甲，算，买一个肉丸。
So, what can? Yeah, sure. Just take a copy. This is our publication. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye. So, what are the problems children facing in Taiwan? Yes, forced to confess. Yes. So if we cannot have a perfect legal system. Perfect means no mistakes. So because we cannot have a perfect legal system, if we use that penalty to deal with the crime, to deal with the bad people, so what if the people is innocent? Right. So this is one of the arguments. We say no to that penalty. The film came from 2011, and Cho Was-shun still alive, but he is still in prison and he's waiting for another chance. Yeah, to get out from the prison. Yes, really amazing, right? They have secret recording, and I cannot understand is Cho Was-shun and his lawyer, they have so many evidence on torture to confess everything, but the court again, the court didn't consider the evidence. Yes. So this is another case to tell you that death penalty may not be the solution. Can you imagine what's wrong with them? The two young boys, they are underage, they are under 18 in Iraq. Can you guess? Imagine? Huh? Yes. They are gay people. Actually, they are couple. They're couple. Homosexual in Iraq, you can sentence to death, sentence to hang. And yes, and it's horrible. In 2007, actually 3 boys sent to hanging, and they are couples. But 2 of them under 18, one 17, one 16. So again, we question about the death penalty, and the Amnesty believe that we opposite the death penalty because everyone have the right to life. And sometimes why death penalty? Because torture, unfair trial, and this is inhuman. And our work from International Bill of Rights, like UDHR, it came that everyone have the right to life, and also from ICCPR, it came that no one should be tortured. This is the standard we work for. And how AI works for them, how AI campaign for them. So we see so many problems from death penalty. And in AI we have 3 buckets to work, to campaign for that situation. First, we have human rights international standards, just like the UDHR. And then we have research people to doing research, doing report. And then we will focus on individual, focus on some individual cases. And we have colleagues like me, the campaigner, to campaign the case. So, and then we draw attention because we have membership all over the world, and then make the change. This is how we work, how we campaign for them. Like Chen Guangcheng, he is one of our prisoners. Our focus before he escaped to US, and like this, we have individual cases on the two people. And like Li Yan, we have a case because we took up the Li Yan case, and then we start up from her as an individual case to engage to the Chinese government to abolish the death penalty. And then our section, like in UK or in New Zealand, we have campaign for her. Of course, not only UK and New Zealand, but also Hong Kong and some other section, we campaign for Li Yan. How we campaign for her, traditionally, we have letter writing for her. Everyone write a letter to the Chinese government. But sometimes we use other media, not only writing, but also SMS, also fax, or mail to the Chinese government. And in Hong Kong, we protest for her today before Chinese New Year. So we also push pressure on the authority, on the government. Remember, I told you that we have researchers all over the world, and research is our base to work for, to campaign for them. Like every year, we have death penalty and the report, and our work based on the report. And some important days like October 10th, this is the World Against Death Penalty Day. So we will have a protest or demonstration on that day every year. And sometimes we still need some public education, like documentary film show last year and coming up this year also. We have screenings to the general public to let them know more about the death penalty. This is another important day, Cities for Life, from Europe, to talking about celebrate the life and celebrate for the country they don't have death penalty. And we have a public event in Causeway Bay. And letter writing. Letter writing really, really important for us. Like Li Yan case, after we adopt the case, we took up the case, and then we will clarify all the information. Is it true? And then we will release urgent action all over the world. And then all of our members will work for her. So the urgent action case contain the information about Li Yan, and then also to ask people to send letters to the court in Beijing and the government. And this is how we work in Amnesty International. And do you have any question on death penalty? Yeah. Mm. Mm. I will ask if this is the solution. Someone kills someone, and then we kill the other. Is it the solution to make the society more just? And also from the victim's family's point of view, are they calling to kill the murder or the other compensation? Sometimes we take some cases from the victim's family, and they told us that they don't want to kill furthermore. They don't want to kill more people. They just want to have more compensation, like money, like counseling. In Hong Kong, in Germany, and in some other Western country, we have a compensation system to deal with the victim's family. And we find that this is more suitable for them instead of killing someone. And to alternative, you mean? Yes. As you know, we opposite all death penalty. All method of crime, we opposite death penalty. So maybe a longer term for them, a long life imprisonment for them, but not death penalty. I may say this is not an easy and simple question because what's the reason someone murder someone? What's the reason to kill someone? Yes, but I want you to get into the story. Not only the killing, but what's the background? If we are asking to know more about background of Lian killed her husband. Because we don't have any figure or official research on whether death penalty can prevent crime. Like in Hong Kong, we don't have death penalty, but the crime rate didn't get higher after 20 years before. So death penalty cannot deal with most serious crime. Like in Malaysia, why Malaysia have death penalty? Why Singapore have death penalty? Because they have to deal with the drug-related crime. But people still trafficking with drugs in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Singapore, their government keep on killing people, but they cannot. But still, people go for drug trafficking. Like in murder case, even you kill him, so to solve the problem of crime, this is not only killing by killing, but also the other. If you think that the Yan case, this is another case, but why the others, not the other case? Every case have their stories behind this. Like in India, like the case. We all know the news is horrible, right? They are bad people. But what if we kill the murder? Can we solve the problem of sexism in India? No. They already changed. They already have legislative change to put the rapists, serious rapists, to death already. But rape case still happening. Yes? Huh? Yes. But this is not the solution. We cannot prove death penalty is the solution. Hmm?
This is a logical problem, right? If you say that technology cannot solve the problem, but if we don't have technology, then the world will be in chaos.
But not in Hong Kong, not in Macau, not in the Europe countries. We don't have that penalty for a long time, right? Hi.
Let's just say that the technology cannot prevent, cannot get a solution, but actually the criminal justice also exists. The rape and also killing Islamic this case, the man killed his parents. This case also exists.
But even the children, the young people kill their parents. I don't think that penalty is suitable for him. Yeah, I don't think so. Because even like in Hong Kong, if we have that penalty, that 2 young boys should be sentenced to death because they killed their parents. But I don't think this is a solution to that kind of crime. Because how you produce a crime, this is really complicated. They have so many background information after the stories. And only killing cannot deal with the situation. I only can prove to you that like in some Europe country almost all the Europe countries, we don't have that penalty. Like in Hong Kong, like in Macau, we are safe. Why I cannot compare Hong Kong and China? Why? What's the reason of it? But I want to know your opinion why I cannot compare with Hong Kong and China.
So maybe we can think it in another way. What if the people who increase crime prefer this penalty than staying in prison for the rest of life? I want to answer that question. From a cultural perspective, I think that Hong Kong has
Because we are following UK, right? To abolish, but not really. That means, you mean that in Hong Kong, in your country, we have different tradition on human rights, on crime, on death penalty than the other Asian countries. More Western. No, we are Chinese society. And from the Hong Kong history, why the Legislative Council abolished the death penalty? Because 1997. Because 1997. In 1993, the Legislative Council in Hong Kong abolished the death penalty. Why they abolished the death penalty? Not because to follow UK, but because the 1997 problem coming. Because if we maintain, because they are afraid that if we back to China, we will have death penalty in Hong Kong. Therefore, they abolished death penalty before 1997. This is the main reason. When I asked Martin Lee, the legislator in 1993. Yes, 1993. We abolished that penalty already 20 years.
Right, did they use it for
Yes.
like frequently?
In the 18th, yes. Yes.
Just search on Hong Kong. Last one recently passed in Hong Kong is 1996.
Yes. No, 1996.
96.
Other than
Hong Kong, before 1991, Hong Kong has a law to
we have the law.
the
Yeah.
law to sentence to death. But after 1991,
1966. The last execution. Not 1996. The last execution.
66 and 93 it was legal, but they didn't really practice it.
Yes. We didn't practice for you can tell, for a long time. But we still sentence people to death, but we don't have execution. Yes. And then direct sentence to life, prisoner. Oh, because we are too small. Because we are too small, because we are Western, because what. But I should tell you that human rights is not a Western value. This is a global value. Okay. When we talk about human rights, we're back to the international human rights standard. And this and UDHR and ICCPR, the Chinese government already signed for the both bills. If they are following the international human rights standard. They should value the life, right to life. Human right is not a Western value. When you're talking about human rights.
If we abolish the death penalty, you take consideration all the people should have people. But what if a murder happened? The killings happened. Those people have been killed. What about their rights? What we should do?
So that's why I share with you the case of Li Yan. And some other case, this is torture through torture to confess or unfair trial. So many murder cases, they are facing unfair trial, they are facing torture, and then sentenced to death. If we think that the legal system in China is not perfect, once they are not perfect, they will have someone innocent but sentenced to death. So they should think about the government in China. They should think about to abolish the death penalty. You know, in China, not only murder case, but over 100 crimes they can sentence to death. Even you didn't pay for the tax, you can sentence to death. Of course, the amount will be so high.
It's the problem of how to establish a perfect law system, but not the problem of abolish the death penalty.
And not only Amnesty International asking the Chinese government to abolish death penalty, even in China, more and more human rights lawyers or scholars, they are asking the authority to abolish death penalty. Not only people outside, but also inside, but also some from the government, from the legal system.
My concern is that if we did it death penalty before the realization of legal justice, then can you imagine what would happen to those people who were having life sentence? And then be like more
More and more.
because they're in prison for the rest of
So that's another question I want to ask. What do you think to solve the problem, to solve the so-called society problem? People still killing people, like, yeah. If not that penalty, so what?
It is kind of controversial problem. Can't find a perfect answer for it. It's also the problem is if we cancel the death penalty, we must take into consideration of the needs. Because if we cancel death penalty and people don't be controlled or death penalty has kind of power to wrong people, but prevent this kind of thing happening. So regarding the human rights, we must consider the human rights of the rest of people. I mean, the potentially intelligent people. That's the thing.
Yes, but and also the right for the people on death row. Everyone, we should consider everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we can't satisfy everybody, but we need to see the big picture. What is
Yes, yes.
comparable, more suitable thing to do. So.
And also in the views of liberalism, that everyone has equal rights. But on the basis that they cannot allow its other people's rights.
Yes.
But since these people have killed other people's rights, how can we solve the problem?
Yeah, how can we solve the problem? If not death penalty, but the others. I believe that not only one way to solve the problem, but it should be many ways, many solutions. But not only death penalty. Like the murder case, you are going to focus. Why people killing people? Some cases, all in certain, they kill someone, but sometimes they are planning to do it for a long time. For the murder case, all in certain, if you ask the murder, death penalty is waiting for you. It cannot stop to for him or her to kill someone all in certain, because he cannot imagine only want to kill someone, right? So death penalty may not prevent for the murder case if someone kills someone all in certain. But what about for the planning for a long time? No, I don't think so. Like in Hong Kong, we still have death row inmates, ex-death row inmates, still alive, even they are really old. Like you remember in 1993, we already don't have death penalty, but we still have death row inmates. I asked one of them why he sentenced to death in Hong Kong, because he killed a police officer when he robbery in bank. I asked him, have you think about death penalty? He told me that no, because if you told me that I will have death penalty, then I will make a even bigger serious crime, because whatever I do, death penalty will be waiting for me. So for the murder, for the people who are going to have a serious crime, death penalty may not he or her consideration from their point of view. Maybe or maybe not. Okay. But it's good to have discussion with you. In Hong Kong, we don't have death penalty, as I mentioned many times. So we don't have much discussion on death penalty. But it's good to have argument on that. Yes. Because different court in different area, they have different point of view. Like the Yan case, I said that the court didn't consider the domestic violence background for her, because from the court they only consider Lian as a murder, because she actually killed her husband, no matter what kind of background information the lawyer submit. So this is different point of view, different legal system. Yes, it's a really hard job. We push outside China. We push the other section to have an international pressure on Chinese government. But when China becoming bigger and bigger, the so-called international pressure is not a pressure anymore. So on the other hand, we also provide more information to people in China, and like the human rights lawyer and the worker who deal with domestic violence, and also the women's rights group in China. And if they have any cooperation action, we will make it to the international media to make a voice for them.
And from some comments too. And I've only been working in that system, so I do know that there are some like this forced to donate the organs to patients. But I don't really know so much about it. And I really would like to know more about it. And they're obviously taken away after the prisoners
Yes.
organs.
What if you ask Energy, does anything about it? Do you think about forced organ donation?
I read it from some official report, like from the government of China. They have official figures on how many organs so-called donated by the death row inmates. Over 70%.
It's without their consent.
Good question. And from some other cases, we found that we cannot explain why the death row inmates execution, after the execution, the hospital already prepare the organ to the patient. They are the arrangement is so close. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I got one question that recently one of the most responsible leaders is for Iceland's usually but now I think there are two people in court. So I just wondering if the court found out that we've done the best punishment, we are massive have that or just
Consider the case.
I think that the fact now that may not be a one death penalty, but maybe the matter becomes one of the executive because they kill a lot of people and more than 1 million people.
Yes. But I remember we don't have section in Cambodia. So I don't know. Yeah. So
Any other questions?
yeah.
And my question is that my classmate just mentioned about corrupt officials. I think in China there are a lot of them. So maybe one day the Chinese court found out that those people will be executed by some kind of specific locality. So we'll Amnesty International have that. That would be a die. So far, the reality is highly functional.
Yes. Maybe this is not my work focus, so I don't want to answer you wrong. Yeah. Is it your tradition?
All our Texas is pretty good. Yeah, we have 15 more minutes, so I'd love to hear the rest of your
Yeah.
talk. Okay?
Okay.
We don't need to talk about Texas.
Okay. So I came from Amnesty International, and we already have 51 history. We start in 1961. And we have so many members all over the world and 115 sections. To become independent, so we don't accept donation from government or business sector. And what is our working standard? This is the International Bill of Human Rights. So what the Amnesty International are calling to work for, this is the UDHR I mentioned before. And this is our website, and please like our Facebook. It is more easy to contact with us through Facebook. And my presentation here. Thank you very much. And I have some publication. It's free of charge, and it is bilingual. So please take one.